So the next job, having checked my ignition system, is to check all the fuel injectors. To do the fuel injectors, I'm going to have to disconnect most of the fuel system, which is all the fuel lines, the high pressure fuel rail, the pressure regulator, fuel pressure regulator, as well as the injectors. So before I test the injectors, I'm going to take the opportunity to clean all the fuel out of the entire fuel system, because that fuel, that petrol, has been sat in the boat for the best part of 2 years. So I'm going to clean all that out. Now, the removal of the fuel pump and the fuel lines and the high pressure fuel rail and the injectors is all covered in a series of videos by Man Cave Mechanic, and put those on the screen now. So refer to those videos. There's no point in me repeating that and showing you what to do. Use those videos. They're very informative, very easy to follow. I used all those videos for everything I'm about to do. So we'll clean all the fuel lines. So I've now disconnected and removed the whole fuel cell with the high pressure pump, low pressure pump, and I've just removed the filter and emptied the filter petrol into a container, and hopefully there you can see how yellow that petrol is, which is not good. So I'm definitely running on very old degraded petrol. Now, I don't particularly want to strip down the whole fuel cell, because I don't feel there's anything wrong with the fuel cell. I don't want to risk breaking a seal or an O-ring that can't seal it back up again. So I'm quite comfortable that this fuel cell assembly is fine. What I want to try and do is get as much fuel out of there as possible, so that when I connect it all back up and put fresh fuel in, that I'm running fresh fuel through the whole cell. Now, obviously I'm going to change the oil filter. The other way of getting fuel out of the low pressure pump is taking the cap off that you'll see on the Schrader valve here, which is what you use for putting a fuel pressure gauge on. And if you just press the little pin in that's in there, you see you can get fuel out. So I'm going to keep that in there and remove as much fuel from the low pressure pump as I can. And you can see there's quite a bit of fuel in there coming out. Right, well, I'm happy that I've got most of the fuel out of there. I'm now going to just take this fuel cell out the vise. I'm going to take it outside the workshop here, and I'm just going to tip it upside down. If there's any residual fuel left in that might want to come out of the high pressure fuel cell or the sleeve here, then I'll do that, and really just satisfy myself that I've got as much fuel out of this as I can, so that when I connect fresh fuel to it, I'm going to be pumping fresh fuel through the whole thing. So I've just been and bought some fresh fuel straight from the petrol station, and I just thought I'd show the difference. You can see here, and I'll get the camera and show you in a minute, that's the fuel that was in the boat, all in the fuel system, and this is the colour of fresh fuel. So I don't know if that's my problem, but I'm guessing the old fuel is certainly not helping. Old fuel on the right, new fuel on the left. Hi, so I've cleaned out my fuel pump assembly. I got as much petrol out as I could, pretty much empty, and I've now put that back on the boat. What I also have done is took off both fuel lines. and using carburetor cleaner, and I use this one, spray inside the fuel lines, and I blocked one end off, sprayed inside the other end, pretty much filled the fuel line up with carb cleaner, give it a good shake, get it out. What came out of both fuel lines was a little tacky, a little sticky. Now it shouldn't be, because carb cleaner is not sticky and petrol normally is not. So again, I think that was another indication that the fuel had degraded in the fuel lines. Sat in the boat pretty close to 2 years, waiting for a mechanic to sort my boat out, which is why I'm sorting my boat out, because I'd still be waiting. But by the by, so I would recommend you do that. What I did notice as well is on the ends there's a little O-ring. They're both different sizes, and obviously it was the original O-ring. They looked a little bit degraded, particularly one of them looked quite squashed and out of shape, so I put new O-rings in. So now I'm going to install these back on the boat, and as you can see, what I've already done is I've took off all the fuel assembly. So this is the high pressure fuel rail, this is the pressure regulator, and here you'll be able to see all 8 injectors, the original injectors, because they're all painted red, and I'll be testing them in the next video to see what condition they're in. I'm assuming that my starting and running problems are due to maybe the old fuel clogging up the injectors, or the injectors themselves through their age have degraded. We'll see when we start testing them. Again, use the carb cleaner to squirt into all the high pressure ports where the fuel injectors go, in through the fuel lines. I blew that out with air, having done that, and same with the pressure regulator. I have bought another pressure regulator in case this one was damaged in any way, and you can see that's got the original screen on it. Volvo recommended that you replace the screen with their clip, and again I'll be doing that in another video. So I'm going to use the new regulator that I've got, and I'm going to change the screen on that new one to the new clip. Okay.